What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Apollo. Today I thought we'd take a little bit of a review and my thoughts into Blackpool Pleasure Beach's brand new ride for 2026, Aviktas, the Intamin Gyro swing. It's been dominating the news of Blackpool Pleasure Beach since its opening back in May, and has been exciting a lot of thrill seekers and enthusiasts with its new addition to the park. So I'm going to give you my thoughts following my ride on the previous weekend. If you haven't seen the vlog over on Blackpool Pleasure Beach, please go and give it a check because we do discuss it there actually in person. But we're going to talk about my thoughts on the ride, my feelings and the overall ride experience as a whole. So if you are going to enjoy this video, please leave a like, subscribe to this channel, and without further ado, let's get into it. Blackpool Pleasure Beach, opening in 1896, still running today, back in 2026, features a lot of history in the park, a lot of character, and although Blackpool, in my opinion, may not be the nicest of areas and may often look a little bit dilapidated in places, there is definitely a certain charm about Blackpool, and you will definitely feel that within the Pleasure Beach with a mix of newer rides and a mix of older rides, especially in the likes of Big Dipper and Grand National, but also more update, more refreshed rides like Icon, Launchpad, and the new addition for 2026, Aviktas. Now, if you've never seen the ride type of Aviktas before, it's a massive Intamin Gyro swing, which for most UK enthusiasts or theme park goers, your ideal rides that you would find of this similar model, Maelstrom is probably the most recognisable one at Drayton Manor. There is also Cyclonator at Paulton's Park. But obviously, if you know the Intamin Gyro swing, you know that this model is essentially the same that you would find at Leesburg with Loki there. And it's, it's just pretty much copy and pasted all the way over to Blackpool Pleasure Beach. A very interesting decision to see Blackpool Pleasure Beach take, obviously given the current state of some of the rides. Obviously you've got the likes of Valhalla that's yet to maintain a consistent opening this season, along with just some general state of wares. Grand National still waiting to open, the River Caves / season, which was confirmed to have a reimagining and yet it's still to have any work done on it. Seeing Aviktas open this season is kind of an interesting move. Obviously flat rides galore. We saw Alton Towers introduce Toxicator last season. Obviously Paulton's Park this season really dominated the start of the year with the opening of their Viking themed area with obviously Drakon, Voldsving, and the re-theme of Raven, I think it is, into the, to fit in with the area. Obviously Thorpe Park would introduce Launchpad, Chessington with the World of Paw Patrol. So there's definitely a lot of hype between those rides, but there was a lot of discussion for Blackpool Pleasure Beach when it came to Aviktas. Now, there's been a lot of speculation over the years with Blackpool Pleasure Beach. If you do follow the park, these types of rumours come about from years. There's always suggestions that a ride's going in place, and then years later it comes to fruition. It was the same with Icon, and it's clearly the same now with Aviktas. It will just obviously be interesting to see where the rest of the park goes, especially with the likes of River Caves and what else could happen going on forward with the park. Now, Aviktas, let's look at some facts here. Standing as the UK's tallest Intamin Gyro swing, the actual thing itself, it stands up at, I had some factoids here, but it's now gone away for me. The physical stature stands at 88 feet high, but the momentarium swing rides at an extra 50 feet in the air to reach its 138 peak, which is bloody high. Believe me, when you see it from off person, it looks nowhere near the same when you're actually reaching those levels of height. Because of the momentum, you actually managed to reach nearly 120 feet in the air, almost giving you that sense of feeling like you're going upside down. But I must say, the views that you get from that overall experience is incredible. It sits currently on the former site of the Boulder site, and there was an actual time capsule created over to fan messages, past and present, looking at over the future and all their history and thoughts of the area of Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Currently sitting on that site there, so it's right opposite the River Caves. It also sits right behind Infusion and the introducing drop to Big Dipper. Now, this ride was first introduced in 2025. There was obviously a lot of signage going up in that area, and it was eventually announced that it was going to be called Aviktas in 2025 with the whole media showcase, the big snake coming out, and obviously the Intamin Gyro swing itself going through there. Really exciting, really helped build up the anticipation for Blackpool Pleasure Beach to give them another new attraction this year, and give them something to look forward to and build upon going forward. So when we think about the Intamin Gyro swing, it's obviously quite an interesting model of ride. It does provide that sense of weightlessness and opposed to floatiness. It's also just one big massive swing. Imagine going into the park but going 120 meters and 120 feet into the air at that sense of speed and height. It is incredible. the type of restraints that you will find on this is the lap bar restraints. So like with Maelstrom, say for example, when you've got the over shoulder restraints, you're able to hold on and you're swinging side by side. What this type of restraint is, yep, it's still over the shoulders, but it's a lot more of a lap bar restraint than anything. You do have two shoulder restraints that you can hold on, but it's actually a little bit more wider over you because it's obviously to try and give you that upper body freedom. So when you do reach the peak of 120 degrees, you feel that great sense of air time there as you're going through, building up that momentum. It leaves you free and lets you feel the G-forces. It's a great experience once you get up there. Obviously it builds up the speed and it's just an overall great experience. So let's talk about the overall theming of the area and the experience that you will find as you go into there. Straight off the bat, as you turn the corner from the ghost train and also from just the general fountain point and all of the food stands there, you're greeted by this massive sign for Aviktas. Now it's gone for this modern feel similar to what you'd find with Icon much towards the left of the park, where it's a bit more modern, it's a bit more sleek, the colours are a little bit cleaner, and it's a really nice entrance. This big massive doorway with Aviktas on it. You walk through and there's this like black egg fountain thing, and literally right in front of it you're seeing the Intamin gyro swing coming back, back and forth. It's got a nice viewpoint because it also sits alongside the bridge. So depending on the angle that you're at, if you are a bit afraid of the ride or don't fancy going on it, you can actually just stand on that bridge and get a really nice viewpoint of the experience. It really does make up for it. As you go and see, like I said, 138 feet in the air, you get to see the reaction of your fellow riders. In terms of the ride area itself though, you go around and towards the right of it, probably the weakest point, it doesn't actually necessarily be a little bit clear on where you actually need to enter the ride, but it's literally tucked away in the right, just like the entering to the gate. Obviously to the left you've got your speed pass and the easy pass, which brings you right into the station itself. But the main riders will go down the main queue line, which covers the exterior of the park. Nice little bit of theming again with like the artificial grass and plants. Again, it'd be nice to see, in my opinion, I would have liked to see like a little few storyboards, because it mentions about this egg on this mysterious relic that was found on the burial site of the Bowlerdrome, and now ultimately this links to this massive snake. It'd be really nice to see some storyboards, similar to what Hyperia does in their queue line, where they have little dots of fearless moments that you can find throughout the ride. It'd be nice to see some little bit of storyboard elements and try and build upon the lore of it. I know it's not really a part where it goes about those themed experiences, but given what they've managed to achieve with Icon and Valhalla, there's clearly the money there. So you go around the queue line, and it's a great viewing point again as well for the Aviktas ride, as you literally sit under it and see the gyro swing coming from left to right. Come on through the queue line, make your way into the station where obviously you scan your tickets, and it's like almost like a pre-batching area. So you go on around in like a little square, and you literally, just before you're about to go on, you stood behind a few walls, peeking through these little gaps in the wall, just watching as it goes through the station. It's really nice and clean, like a black wall interior with some wooden flooring, some like stone marbled window-like effects, which is really nice. Again, goes with that modern theme and carrying on that consistency throughout the ride. And then you come to the ride itself. You make your way onto the platform, seating a total of 40 riders. Baggage holds just towards the front of the station, and you make your way on, sitting in the ride seat there. Operator coming on either side so they can keep view of you. And then you sit on in, lap bar restraint with a little bit of a seat belt, and roughly it will take about 3 to 5 minutes before the dispatch times. Obviously depending on your operations on the day, it could be nice and speedy, but in most cases, and given that it's also Blackpool Pleasure Beach's operations, you might find you will be taking a little bit of a while. But once you get going, there is no feeling like it. Obviously it builds up the speed firstly with a little subtle bit of rotation, and as it gets going and going, and then you're going all the way up 120 feet into the air itself, and wow, what an experience it is. Literally the views that you get from wherever you are, so if you're more so towards the left, you get the views of obviously not only just Infusion and Big Dipper, but also seeing out to likes of the big one, Skyforce, even though it's not in operation, Steeplechase, and just that end of the park, and Blackpool Pier itself. Face the other way, you're going all the way to the north of the pier, so you're going to be seeing the North Promenade, Velvet Coaster, obviously Launchpad, Valhalla, and just seeing towards the Blackpool Tower and the piers itself. It's a really bloody great view. Although it doesn't last for a few seconds, it's something that you really need to keep your eyes on, especially if you're scared. Open your eyes and see it, because it's truly an amazing experience. And also, like so, when you get that floaty sense of that you're literally about to go over, it's so amazing, combined with the lap bars as well, that sense of freedom. It's just Oh, it really helps deliver it to it. Yeah, you get that little bit of a stomach drop feeling, but obviously that comes more from when you come back down and literally just speeding through the station to go and carry out the next loop. It's truly a superb experience there. Coming back off of that, obviously it slows down. I want to say roughly in length, it's about 2 minutes. It's probably a lot shorter than what I'm imagining, but when I went on it, it felt like it lasted forever. Come to a hole, get off your restraints, make your way off. No photo point, obviously, it's a flat ride, not going to be a photo point on these ones. And that's pretty much it. No gift shop, nothing really else to make yourself immersed onto it. You just literally exit and you're straight back out onto the little promenade plaza for Aviktas, the ride itself. Now, when we experienced it, it did experience a lot of downtime on the day. So bear in mind, we experienced this on the 26th of June. So it's been about open for what, like a month and a bit now. These new rides, they do have problems. You know, Toxicator Alton Towers, it's, you know, amongst us, it's one of those rides that unfortunately, it's one of those things that goes down nearly every bloody hour. It's so infuriating. And unfortunately, it was the case with Aviktas. Again, it is a new ride, so you've got to bear with it, unfortunately, because these new rides do have some teething problems, especially these newer models of the Intamin Gyro swings. But it just was a little bit of a downer for us. Now, eventually we did get on it towards the end of our day, and we did actually queue for it for a second time at the end of the day, but ultimately it went down 3 times as a matter of fact whilst we were queuing it. The third time ultimately being just, you know what, we're done here for today, we're not going to do it anymore. For that, for me, it's hard to say whether it's going to be my favourite flat ride in the country. I know I was anticipating it being my favourite flat ride in the country if I'd had that second ride, but because I've only had the one experience, it's hard to judge on it whether it's going to overtake, for me, Toxicator. Just because Toxicator's got the different cycles, I actually quite like the restraints on it. I do find it a little bit comforting, and once you get over that sense of fear that you may have within the ride security and overall just the intensity of the experience, you know, I think Toxicator is a great experience. And it's the same here with Aviktas. Yes, it may look a bit menacing, 138 feet into the air with the type of restraint that you have. But honestly, it is such an amazing feeling once you're on it. Just give it a go and feel that sense of weightlessness as you reach the top. Because like I said, even if you're not interested in the rides, go look at the views and try and get that viewpoint as you're going on it, because honestly, it's breathtaking to see. In terms of merchandise that the ride offers, there's a lot of it that you can find in the gift shops itself, from like bedding to like the actual eggs of the snakes itself, of course these snake plushies. Did pick up a few pieces. Now there was about 4 pins itself for sale, so we'll go through them now. So we've got here, let's see how well you can see that. This is called Emerald Storm. They've all got different names for them. It's the same with the snakes, like they all mean different things. But this one's an Emerald Storm, and there's 2 more variations of this. So we've got Eyes of Emerald Fire, sorry. Eyes of Emerald Fire, quite nice there. And then we've got Forged in Myth, this nice gold and green combination. Nice set collection there. And then just your standard ride logo itself, the Corridor of Time. It's pretty nice there. And then for me, probably the biggest highlight of this merchandise offering is the mug itself. So we've got this nice embossed Aviktas Pleasure Beach Resort, snake pattern there, like a gold and green kind of scheme going on there with a bit of a marbling on the actual base of itself. I thought this was really nice. Really does stand out, got a bit of weight to it as well, and definitely seems like it's going to hold a bit. Pleasure Beach on the bottom itself. The mug itself costs $15.95, which I don't think is too bad for a mug of this quality as well. Bear in mind, you go to Alton Towers, you're paying like nearly 20 quid or something. Pin badges itself were only $3.95, so if you wanted to complete the set, that's what 16 pounds roughly, which I thought was pretty nice. There's like duvet sets and all that law. You can look online because the Pleasure Beach will sell them online and see that there. But I think that's probably one of the strongest merch offerings that I've seen from theme park, especially in terms of an opening day. Toxicator is a little bit meh for my liking. You know, just having the plain badge and Toxicator itself doesn't really seem as striking. The pin badges are great for it, but I think compared to what we've seen here with the likes of Aviktas and overall Pleasure Beach merch itself, they do a really good job on it and put some really good effort into the designs there, unlike the Merlin parks which are using AI at the moment. But overall, in terms of my thoughts and opinions on Aviktas itself, it's like I said, it's a great experience to see. Don't get me wrong, flat rides aren't going to be the thing that steals the attention for most people. It's the same with Toxicator last year. It has that really starting peak of where it's really busy because it's the new attraction. But as the year goes on, you start to realise that it's probably the least popular ride in the park itself, and it might be the same with Aviktas. for your riders, to be fair, it's a nice better capacity. Like I said, if you've only ever experienced the likes of Maelstrom or Cyclonator, this is a really great step up from there. And I think overall, for what the aesthetic is going for with Pleasure Beach, I think it really fits really well. The theming's really nice. It would have been nice to see a little bit more detail go into the garden bits itself, perhaps play a little bit more into the snake elements. Obviously, the main best spectacle of it is the actual structure itself, especially at the top with these two embossed snake images on either side. It really does fit in well there. It looks presentable, it looks really clean and fresh. Let's just hope it's maintained that long. In terms of a ride experience itself, we would be nice to see it be a little bit longer, and from a personal standpoint, just get another second ride on it to actually get, you know, a better sense of thoughts over it. But overall, I think it's a really solid addition for Blackpool Pleasure Beach. Something I'd like to hopefully see come to, say, like a Thorpe Park even, because bear in mind, it's a thorough type of experience, and given what Thorpe Park currently has in that flat ride area in the Lost City, and the fact that a lot of those rides do seem to have a little bit of maintenance issues, maybe it could be worth seeing something like there be brought over. Who knows? But it's a great ride experience. If you ever do fancy yourself going to Blackpool Pleasure Beach, along with its other great attractions, definitely give Aviktas a go, because you will definitely find yourself enjoying it. With that in mind, that will wrap up the video there for us. If you have experienced Aviktas already, leave in the comments down below your thoughts and your feelings on the ride, or if you are excited to experience it at any point this season. But I hope you have enjoyed. Like I said, please subscribe to the channel for more thoughts and opinions like this. But without further ado, we'll see you later. Cheerio!